Yeah, soldiers, it's your boy the Anime Sage coming at you in another video, and this is what if Deku had Spider-Man's powers, part 1. Well, since it's won the poll, here's a series that was requested by one of my patrons, and I have apparently been challenged to make a better series than a lot of the Spider-Man Deku series out there, so I'll accept that challenge. Let's do this. But first, a word from our sponsor. This video is sponsored by Beefo Halo. If you want some nice looking anime and meme apparel or clothing, this is a site for you. You also use code MEME for 5% off awards of $49+. I repeat, code MEME. And code MEMES for 10% off awards of $9+. I repeat, code MEMES. Also, you buy stuff there, all supports me, so go check out Beefo Halo. Their links will be in the description. I've got some videos coming very soon, specifically my 1-year anniversary video, which will be tomorrow, since, I really kind of had to delay the making of my own, Spider-Man Deku series because I'll be honest, I kind of got a little bit burnt out a little bit, but I'm back and I'm ready to transition into a new schedule I created. And also, I'm going to be building a new PC soon, which will make videos come out faster. So yeah, get ready for that. So yeah, this should be fun. Anyways, watch the community tab like a hawk as you guys get vid updates, polls, the ability to select what ifs you want for the week, and some other fun stuff in between. So again, watch the community tab like a hawk. Check out my Patreon and some nice rewards you can get to support me financially, so the link's out in the description. Also, go check out my Twitch as you stream there. Link to that will be in the description. Also, do you like this new profile pic or I guess YouTube logo right now? It's really good, actually. Shout out to my boy Kobe. Kobe Draws over on Twitter and stuff like that. He made this, design for me. It's really good in my opinion. So, go check him out. The link's out in the description. Also, shout out to my boy Kuro for making this Spider-Man Deku edit. I'll link his channel in the description as always. And I guess it's now time for some quick social media plugs. Twitter is at AnimeStage4, Instagram is anime_stage4, and of course, join my Discord server. I will give you all reasons to follow notes at the end of the video, so watch until the end. And since it's a new series, there's going to be no you should checklist, so with all that out of the way, let's get right into the story. In a world of heroes, villains, and everything in between, there is one thing that ties everyone together: quirks. You either have a quirk or you don't. If you have a quirk, you may have a chance to become a pro hero, maybe even become the #1 hero. If you don't, kiss those dreams goodbye. The percentage of people with quirks is 80%. The percentage of those without quirks is 20%. Our story begins with one of those 20%. A little boy named Izuku Midori is going to the doctor's office. He is hopeful he can be diagnosed with having a quirk, and that the quirk is awesome too. He will walk into the doctor's office with his mother. He gets an examination, and the doctor will then say to the mother of Izuku Midoriya, Inko, I have some bad news. Your son is quirkless. The devastation in Izuku's eyes is there, as he realizes he may not be able to become a pro hero. Inko looks down at her son, and is so sad at the moment because Izuku does not deserve this. The next day, Izuku will walk into class and he will be laughed at, for he has no quirk. Katsuki Bakugo, someone Izuku was trying to become friends with, a guy who started bullying him for not showing signs of a quirk, and bullied other people for having weaker quirks compared to his, multiplied his bullying towards Izuku by 100. Deku does not know what to do as he feels down. Are his dreams of becoming a hero really ending here? He would try to find hope by watching All Might, the #1 hero, the man that Deku looks up to, an idol he wants to be like. He will ask his mother one day with tears in his eyes if he can become a hero, and his mother will just embrace him and say, I'm sorry, Izuku. Deku is just sad right now. However, he will get some encouragement from someone who will come to live with him, since his father is always out doing his job overseas. His name is someone you should all be very familiar with, Uncle Ben, or Ben Midoriya. Since Deku's father works in the United States a lot, he wanted his aunt and uncle to help Inko, since he is always going to be busy providing for the family overseas. Of course, the aunt is called Aunt May, so yeah, I'm definitely being creative here, I guess. I kind of want to, feel like a Spider-Man story by adding in Uncle Ben and Aunt May, because it definitely makes sense. If you're not going to be able to take care of your kid all the time, especially in Deku's father's case, I feel like it would be a good idea to have, relatives, like your grandmother, grandfather, aunt, uncle, or any family member to help raise him and stuff like that. I'm gonna, assume that Deku's grandparents can't do it because of a strained relationship, so that's why these two are the best option available. Or they're dead or something, who knows. Anyways, Uncle Ben will arrive when Deku's around 5 years old, and Uncle Ben will actually give Deku some form of encouragement. He himself has a very weak quirk that's not necessarily powerful, and because of this, he never really had much going for him in terms of being a hero. Uncle Ben will always say, Izuku, I know you feel that you're down and out with nothing left to hold on to because you are quirkless, but I promise you, you are not alone. Even though I was never quirkless, I had a very weak enhancement quirk that never really helped me out in any way. I also never really liked the idea of being a policeman because it just didn't appeal to me, so I gave up the idea of helping people and stuff like that and pursued a different job over in the States. I regret it wholeheartedly because I gave up, never really seen a light at the end of the tunnel, and let myself believe there would be no hope for me. I know for a fact you want to be a hero more than I ever did, and who wouldn't with how much the world's advanced these days, and you have all these strong heroes nowadays. So I'm going to tell you this right now. Don't give up like I did. Even though my life turned out decently, I always regret how I gave up every day of my life because I never tried. Don't be like me. In fact, I'll say this to you. You'll one day be given a power that is unlike anything we have ever seen before. You'll have a gift that will be used for a lot of good in the world. It could be a late bloomer quirk, if those exist, or something else entirely. Whatever the case is, you'll be one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful hero of all time. However, with great power comes great responsibility. What that means, you will understand when you are older. Deku is in awe of Uncle Ben, and both him and Deku get closer, like a certain Peter Parker and Uncle Ben in the Spider-Man storyline. Alright, so yes, I am not just looking to give Deku the powers of Spider-Man, but also give Deku stuff that makes Spider-Man Spider-Man, if you get what I'm saying. While Deku does have his mom in this canon, I think having people like Aunt May and Uncle Ben is also very important, especially Uncle Ben, since he'll give Deku a lot of motivation in his canon and some of the set morals he has in this new canon, I guess. Though another big thing here is that there will have to be an event that will make Deku understand a bit of what Uncle Ben is saying, or potentially something that gives Deku the result to be a better hero. So we may have to do something to Uncle Ben, unfortunately, but we'll say that for later. Over the years, up to the middle school years of Deku, the relationship between Uncle Ben and him gets stronger and stronger. Despite the years of bullying and people telling him that his dream is never going to become a reality, Deku will still find a way to have some form of hope to become a hero. But over time, that hope starts to wane. He does try to work out a bit and is kind of built for a middle schooler, but not that much. He does want to at least train a bit for his Uncle Ben, but as his hopes started waning, so did his motivation to want to train and other stuff. Alright, around the third year of middle school, he will experience an event that will change his life forever. One day, Deku will be taken to a middle school field trip. Deku will be given one of those packets that you get when you go on a field trip, and the field trip is at the Hosu Science Center. Deku is walking around along with the rest of his classmates and will be at an exhibit that is experimenting with electricity, showing multiple patterns and colors that wow all the kids. Meanwhile, a spider that had gone into contact with a radiation experiment that is not shown at the center is traveling around just on its merry way and reaches the exhibit where Izuku and everyone else is at. The spider will be looking for a target. The spider travels and will see Izuku Midoriya, and then, with Izuku writing something down for the field trip packet, the spider will land on his hand. Izuku will get ready to freak out, but it's too late, as the spider bites him and will then just die. Izuku will feel the sting of the bite and will be taken to the nurse on the trip. The nurse will ask if Deku is feeling sick or anything like that, and Deku will say no, and then the nurse will give him a 100% clean bill of health, and Deku will be sent back on a trip and everything seems normal. Izuku will go back home and will just think that Spider Bite fame was a freak incident, nothing more, nothing less. However, all that is about to change. Deku will one day be in class and Bakugo will bully him as usual. Deku is getting tired of all this. Bakugo will be called out by a teacher, and Bakugo will leave him alone. Deku will try to leave, but feels something stick to him on the school walls. Deku will try over and over again to pull his arm off the wall, and after a bit it works. Deku wonders what that was about, but will look into figuring it out later. Deku will go back home and rush into his room, and wants to see if he has the issue again. Deku will touch the wall, and will see that it was definitely no fluke, and will be stuck to the wall. Deku will then look up, start climbing, and will discover a new power for himself, which is the ability to crawl onto walls, ceilings, and who knows what else. Deku, seeing this, wonders what is going on. There is no way this is a quirk because at this age, that should not be a possibility. So Deku wonders what it could be, but that's not the only change he feels. He looks in the mirror and he sees that he's absolutely jacked. Deku wonders what is going on. He should not be this jacked at all, especially since he's a middle schooler. He doesn't have any strength enhancement quirk at all, and this increase in strength does not line up at all to what was going on earlier. Then Deku, in frustration of wondering what was going on with his body and stuff like that, all of a sudden shoots out a web onto his window. And then Deku will think to himself, I shot out a web like a spider? Now, quick thing here. I kind of am giving Deku this power here, even though the web abilities usually come from Peter Parker making canisters and stuff like that, because Deku's not necessarily a science genius like Peter was. I think it would be fine to give him webs here as his own power. Plus, Peter Parker had gotten the ability to shoot organic webs in the Avengers Disassemble storyline as I was researching for this video, so I think this is fine. Anyways, Deku's now demon fought and wonders what is going on. He can shoot out webs like a spider, he can crawl up walls, and also looks massively jacked. Deku thinks about when these changes started happening to him. They started happening after he got bit by the spider. He wonders if that was the cause of it. It seems like the most logical explanation, though it is crazy to believe, even in a world full of quirks and heroes and stuff like that. Deku knows he will have to say that this is some genetic miracle and that he was just a very, very rare late bloomer. He can't say, I got bit by a spider and now I have spider powers, plus I'm Jack now. No one would believe him. So him just saying it's just some rare genetic miracle, it's just way more believable than the spider story, even though the genetic miracle thing sounds stupid as well. Deku will realize, I think I will show my family my new quirk, and then I'll show it off to my classmates later after that, once I learn about all the other powers I possess. Deku will then go to sleep, and then after school, we'll see what other powers he has. Deku learned biology class after someone tried making fun of spiders that specifically jumping spiders can lift 170 times their own weight, meaning Deku has a lot of strength because of this. Deku will travel around and will get a spider sense coming to him. This comes when he senses Boku coming to bully him, since again he's still in school and when he was about to leave. Deku would normally take it, but something in him snaps as he will knock Bakugo against the wall and will stop him dead in his tracks and will leave him right then and there. Bakugo was just in a state of shock. Deku realizes he has a sensing power of some sort that gives him a warning, but wonders when. Deku will then sense Bakugo, coming at him again, and this time Bakugo will be swept by Deku, and Deku will walk away again, as he's not concerned with him, anymore at least. Bakugo seeing this will charge at him again, and Deku will instinctively kick him in the stomach as the spider senses trigger again. Deku will say, I'm sorry, I never wanted to hurt you. All I ask for you is to please stop trying to bully me. I'm not going to take it anymore. Bakugo will say, what is going on? Why are you so strong? Deku will say, I just developed a quirk. I think it's pretty strong. I guess we're on equal ground now, I guess. Bakugo wants to retort, but will still feel the pain from the blow to his stomach, and Deku will just walk away and go home. On the way, as Deku is thinking about the powers that he has and what he was able to do with Bakugo, he then senses a car coming towards him as he was not paying attention, and the driver of the car was being way too reckless. Deku then instinctively will move out of the way, and Deku says to himself, oh, I see. This power must give me an alert if I'm in danger. Not only that, but I have great reflexes and agility. Interesting. I'm pretty impressed with the powers I have so far. Deku then decides he will show his parents his new abilities, and when he tells his family all this, with a little bit of proof, because, he shows off his powers and stuff like that, his family, they're all really happy for him. Though Uncle Ben will be a bit suspicious about Deku's story, because he had kind of given up the late bloomer quirk idea thing a long time ago, and there is very little chance that Deku would be one of the first people of all, in terms of Hero Society, to get a late bloomer quirk, you know what I'm saying? So he goes up to Deku to learn the truth. When Uncle Ben confronts Deku and asks him to tell the truth, he will come clean and say, okay, the truth is, I really don't know what happened, but when I was on the field trip around a week ago, I got bit by a spider. I don't know how this is all possible, but all of a sudden, after that event, I started gaining the powers of a spider. Webs, enhanced strength, enhanced reflexes, wall crawling, you name it. The only reason I told you that story was because no one would believe me if I just told the truth. I know this is hard to believe, but this is how it happened. Uncle Ben looks at Deku for deceit in his eyes, but he doesn't find any. Uncle Ben says, okay, I believe you. You seem to be telling the truth, though the story is definitely hard to believe. Deku smiles and both him and Uncle Ben hug. Deku will begin to show off his new abilities to his classmates, and his classmates are definitely very impressed. Bakugo is very mad right now, as he's under belief that Deku has been lying to him for a very long time. So basically what he thought in the original canon. Deku will be confronted by Bakugo about this, and Bakugo says, there is no way that power just appeared out of nowhere. You had this power all along and you never used it because you always felt you were better than me. I'm going to make sure you pay for that. Deku will say, sorry, but what I am saying is the truth. You can choose not to believe it, but think about this. Why would I willingly take years of you bullying me and not at least show you my quirk or tell you that I'm not quirkless? That doesn't make sense at all. Bakugo will say, maybe you're right. But even if you have this quirk, there is no way I will allow you to beat me. I will become the #1 hero, and that is final. Deku will then say, that has never been my goal, as all my life since I was first diagnosed quirkless, it was to become a hero. Just a hero. But I don't mind calling you my rival. Bakugo won't admit it, but with this newly enhanced Deku, he wouldn't mind competing against him. Bakugo will then say, bring it on. Deku over next year will start training with his new powers. With these new Spiderman powers, he has a motivation to work harder than he has ever wanted to before. He finally has a chance to become a hero, and he will not squander it. Deku will also be getting a lot of attention from his classmates as he's one of the most impressive heroes prospects out there. And because of this new attention, it kind of causes Deku to be a bit too confident because it is natural. Let me explain. Deku for majority of his life was, essentially a zero. He didn't have much adoration because none of his classmates wanted anything to do with him because he was quirkless. You could say Deku would be able to see that these people are not necessarily the most genuine, but that is not normally the case. If you all of a sudden went from a zero to one of the most famous people in the world overnight, that kind of changes you from a psychological perspective. You change as a person and you kind of become very arrogant. This is the exact case with Deku as he feels the attention from all of his classmates and now is a little too cocky. Uncle Ben will notice this and will try to take him back down to earth. As Uncle Ben will say, "You have a great gift, Izuku, but you are letting it consume you. If you don't change now, something bad will happen." Deku will say, "Nothing bad is going to happen. If a bad guy comes and messes with me, I will handle them very easily. You're being way too hyperbolic." Uncle Ben will just walk out the room and just wishes he could get through to his nephew somehow. It is 2 months before the last day of middle school. As Deku is walking home at night, he goes into a small convenience store to grab something to eat as he has some money on him and is kind of hungry. All of a sudden, a robber comes in and demands money from the cashier. The cashier will give the man the money, and then the robber will run away. The cashier will ask for Deku to chase after the guy, but Deku will say, "I do not have a hero license, so I can't do anything. I'm sure a hero will stop the robber, but I can't get involved in this, especially since it doesn't involve me." Deku will exit the convenience store and will walk down the street as he tries to go back home. But then he sees a crowd gathered around someone or something, as well as police cars and an ambulance, so Deku decides to investigate. Deku will ask what is going on. Deku will learn that a robber shot an old man as he was trying to run away, as the old man had tried to stop the robber. Deku will push through the crowd to see who got shot. Deku's heartbeat increases, but Deku doesn't know why. Deku will reach the old man in question, and what he sees shakes him to the core. The old man people were talking about was Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben is lying there with a couple of bullet wounds, the life slowly flowing out of him. Deku will cry out, "Uncle Ben!" Uncle Ben will say, "Oh, hey, Izuku," trying to crack a smile in the face of death, but to no avail. Izuku will say, "The ambulance is here. You'll be alright. Please, hold on," as Deku holds his uncle's hand. Uncle Ben will then try to say something, but the life flows out of him. His hand falls on its own as he closes his eyes and his head collapses. Uncle Ben is now dead. Deku, seeing this, just cries, for his uncle has died. At the hospital, Uncle Ben is pronounced dead, and the Midoriya family mourns him. Deku would then get a description of the killer in the news, and the sketch shakes him to the core. It looks like the same guy who robbed the store that night. Deku realizes that if he had just stopped the man, Uncle Ben would still be here. Deku will wonder why this happened to him, and will recall the words of Uncle Ben. He was right. His arrogant attitude cost him. Something bad did happen, and Deku really feels bad about it, because he believes this is all his fault. Deku will hope for a hero or the police to grab the criminal, and then everything will be all good. Nothing happens for a week. Deku is mad right now as he wants to see Uncle Ben's killer brought to justice. Deku throughout that week was visibly saddened at school. Boku decides to say something along the lines of, "We don't normally get along, but I am very sorry Uncle died," which shocks Deku, and then he thanks Bakugo for his words, I guess. Deku starts thinking he may need to take matters into his own hands, but thinks that's a bit out of the question because he doesn't have a hero license and he's just a teenager. However, the more he debates with himself, the more he wants to take care of the guy himself. He cannot sit here and watch Uncle Ben's killer go free. Deku decides to deal with him himself. The robber seems to have a habit of going after convenience stores, small ones in fact, so Deku will wait to deal with him at a convenience store that has not been hit yet. Deku will also disguise himself with a ski mask and a hoodie, which will be helpful for people not recognizing him. Deku will see the same guy enter the convenience store, or attempt to, because Deku will just grab him and beat him up in an alley. Deku looks at him in rage, as the guy begs for mercy, but Deku doesn't listen as he wants to unleash a punch that will rip the guy's jaw and maybe even kill him. However, just as Deku is about to punch, he realizes that he is only acting in terms of revenge. Uncle Ben would not want this, and he normally wouldn't do this either. He had been so consumed by the death of Uncle Ben, and felt so much guilt, that he allowed to make him into what he is right now. Deku then remembered the words of Uncle Ben, "With great power comes great responsibility." Deku decides to just web him up and call the police, then turn himself into the police for doing hero work without a license. The police will arrive, and Deku will turn himself in. The police will let Deku off with a warning since he's just a kid, and will take the criminal away. Deku will then go back home, and won't tell his Aunt May and his mom about what he did. Inko will chastise Deku for this because it was reckless, but when Deku explains himself, Inko will understand, but he still gets grounded for a week over this. Deku will think to himself he has a great power, and that from now on he's used it responsibly to protect others and not to use it for selfish reasons. Deku from this point on realizes what his hero name should be: Spider-Man. Deku will also design a costume for himself in a sketch that will look like, well, a Spider-Man costume. He thought about adding some white and yellow just like All Might, but decided against it. And he definitely does earn credit, as he really likes the red and blue design. So Deku is already 2 steps ahead from where he was in canon. Last day of middle school is here, and Deku will look into getting to UA, like in canon. Bakugo will be a bit more mellow here in terms of going up against Deku and talking smack about him and stuff like that. He doesn't necessarily want to mess with someone who had their uncle die around a couple months ago, so Bakugo will not really mess with him at all. Before, it was a bit of a shouting match as Bakugo wanted to assert his dominance over Deku, but now Bakugo is just more chill. Deku will walk down the same place, and, shortcut like in canon, and his spidey sense will tingle as he avoids the sludge villain. Deku will do his best to avoid a sludge villain, and then All Might will come up clutch and will deal with the villain himself. Deku will be very happy to see All Might, and All Might will sign his notebook like in canon. All Might will praise Deku for his moves there, and Deku is pretty happy hearing this from All Might. And then Deku will give All Might his full name, and All Might will realize that the name is very familiar, and Deku will come clean to what happened a couple months ago, as he was the guy who beat up the robber after the robber murdered his uncle. And then All Might will say, "Oh, you're that kid. Well, you seem to have a lot of potential, and you did do a good thing to help us capture that robber, and then turn yourself in for doing hero work without a license. Just make sure you don't do anything reckless, and you could be a great hero one day." All Might will then take off, and Deku is so happy he got that compliment from All Might. Deku knows that he has 10 months to prepare for the UA entrance exam and will get to work. Little does Deku know that he will encounter a lot of powerful villains along the way. He'll be in a lot of danger and will be the main target of all these villains. The robber was only the beginning. He will also encounter a life full of friendships, helping people, and maybe even romance. How will Deku handle all this? Find out as the series hopefully continues. Thank you all for watching part 1 of What If Deku had Spider-Man's powers. I really enjoyed writing this, and I really hope you guys fall in love with the series, as it's crazy what I can do here. And guess what? You may see villains like Dr. Octopus, Green Goblin, and even Venom in here. Tune in to find out. In terms of upcoming What Ifs and other videos, stay tuned for that, as again, I'm kind of thrown off because I kind of took a little bit of a break over these past 3 to 4 days. But get hyped when, I get to those videos and stuff like that. But know tomorrow that I will definitely be posting my anniversary video tomorrow. So get hyped. Anyways, watch the community tab like a hawk. That's really important. Check out if you hail. That really does help me out. And finally, follow me on Twitter for another way to get notified of my videos. Instagram for memes and some other fun stuff in between. And finally, join my Discord server for access to some supplementary content, notification when I live stream ahead of time, and of course the ability to suggest me ideas directly. These are all great ways for you guys to interact with me, so follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and join my Discord server. Shout out to my $10 patrons, their names are on screen, and my $50 patron, Anguish. If you want to support me further and get rewards such as shoutouts like these, go to my Patreon, which is linked in the description. Also, make sure you guys follow my Twitch, as I do stream over there, and we're getting very close to hitting affiliate, so yeah, make sure you follow my Twitch and, shout out to my live streams, and we'll be good. Okay? Nice. Get ready for this newest schedule that I'm implementing pretty soon. It's going to be lit. And also wish me luck on me building my first PC. It's going to be pretty crazy, right? And also, one more thing. Shout out to my boys Kobe and Kuro. They're pretty cool. And that's all I have to say besides, let's get to 22K. That'll be pretty nice. Anyways, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, and share the video. This has been your boy, the MSA, signing out. Peace, Yordha. Stephanie Shea, close us out. Bye-bye. Peace.
Hi, this is Stephanie Shea, voice actress for Sailor Moon, Hinata, Orihime, and you are watching Anime Sage.